Yes, I think we're ready for the first company presenting today. Welcome to CEO Michael Gram and Chairman Lars Brammer, who will present MapsPeople, which is the first company, as I said, presenting today. Michael and Lars will present the investment case and the SaaS results in approximately 20 minutes, and then it will be followed by a short Q&A. So remember, for all of you listening, please ask questions and do not hesitate to ask during the presentation. And with that being said, I will give the word to you, Michael and Lars.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kasper. We really appreciate the event you are arranging here. So it's a pleasure for us to present the company. We will present, of course, the company and the revenue streams in the company and the financial and SaaS metric status after Q1. So I'll start to give you an overview of the revenue streams in the company. We have 3 revenue streams where our indoor mapping Maps Indoors platform is absolutely the main revenue stream. I'll go through these in details in a short while. Beside Maps Indoors, we also have Google Maps platform as a revenue stream, and the last revenue stream is what we call other subscription. I'll not describe that one, only put a few words on it right now. And this part is mainly for the Danish police 911 service, where we deliver some geographical data to identify where an accident is taking place. This is a nice revenue stream, but with no growth. But it's a nice and healthy business for the company. So let's take a closer look at the 2 other revenue streams. First, Maps Indoors. Maps Indoors is about indoor mapping and navigation. And this is a business that we are selling to a number of industries or verticals, as we call it. Corporate offices, where you help the companies to find the employees in the company to find an available desk when you have smart office implemented. You help to find a meeting room or find your colleagues. And we have some very prominent customers here, like, as you can see, JP Morgan, LinkedIn, and so on. Another vertical is sport entertainment, where we help people to find their way to the seat, and we help them to find food and other kind of shopping when they're at a sports event. Healthcare, of course, helping patients and visitors to find their way around a large hospital. Education, that is about indoor mapping on especially universities. Transportation is indoor mapping in airports mainly. Conventions, very large conventions like Mobile World Congress, where we are helping visitors to find their way around at these large venues. And last but not least, retail, where we're helping both to find their way in shopping malls, but also in large department stores. All in all, this is a very strong growth we have in this revenue stream. It's more than 100% growth this year and the next year planned, and we have a bit less than, but close to 100% the previous years, as you can see. It's about more than 800 customers, and the revenue stream was the end of one at 33.5 million Danish crowns. The other revenue stream I'd like to put a few words on is Google Maps, and we are a Google Maps partner selling Google Maps licensing. If you integrate Google Maps in your own website or app, you have to pay for it if you have a usage above $200 per month. And that's where we as a partner, Google Maps partner, are selling Google Maps to a number of businesses. And we're also here talking about some verticals like tracking dogs, kids, cars, ships, whatever. That's a very important group of customers. Last mile delivery, vault for food, and taxis are also an important vertical. Store locator, finding your way to the nearest Pandora shop. Real estate, as you know, there's 3 things important in real estate: location, and sport entertainment, and the last one is for e-business. All in all, there's a good growth here in between 15 and 20% year on year. It's about 235 customers. The revenue here is the gross profit only. So we are receiving 12% gross profit from Google. So this 8.4 million Danish crowns represents the 12% gross profit. And we've been a Google Maps partner since 2009. So I like to go a bit deeper in Maps Indoors, which is the most important part of our business. And to do that, I like to start with this hypothesis, saying Maps has transformed our life. But the case is that Maps has only transformed our lives outdoor, even though that there's a big problem indoor. When you are in an airport, you're confused, you want to be sure you get in time to the gate, so you will leave to the gate much earlier than the airport would like you to, because they like you to stay in the shopping area to buy more, to buy more food, more presents or whatever. Also, if you are in a department store and shopping mall, find your way around there can be quite confusing. And the last example here is from corporate offices, where having a smart office, as I already mentioned, where you need to find an available desk, and this pain leads to loss of revenue for the venue owners, and it leads to lower productivity for the management. So these are the pains that we are tapping into. Fortunately, we do have a solution for this. And the thing we help the customers with are either to earn more money per square meter, and that applies for retail, stadium, airports, conventions, hotels, storage facilities. So we help them to increase their revenue per square meter. The other group, the other jobs to be done is about getting more done in less space, and that applies for corporate offices, for healthcare, and for education. So our solution is based on deriving digital building information from our customer, and we digest these information and we put them on top of Google Maps. And so we represent floor plans on top of Google Maps, and we also represent we call network graphs. That's how you can move from A to B inside a building. And last but not least, from the CAD data, we derive what we call static points of interest. That is location of meeting rooms, desks, coffee machine, vending machine, and so on. These are the basic fundamentals in a Maps Indoors solution. On top of that are all the dynamic integration, and this is where the interesting part comes, because we integrate our indoor mapping to booking systems, which rooms are available right now. We integrate to a lot of IoT sensors, availability sensors. So is a meeting room occupied or is it not? So even though it's booked, it can be freed if no one shows up in the meeting room. And this dynamic integration makes our indoor mapping super relevant for people, for example, in corporate office on a daily basis. So these are the fundamentals in the solution. The USP, the way we differ from our competitor is from the upper right corner, that we're talking about one platform for all kind of devices, even though it's a mobile, Android, iOS, or a web solution or info kiosk based on JavaScript. So we are exposing our platform through SDKs, and it's super simple to integrate. Also, the dynamic integration already mentioned is really important, and we can within a couple of days add new dynamic integrations for new type of sensors, new type of booking systems, and everything is maintained through either our content management system or through an integration to the customer's facility management system behind their own solution. And last but not least, it's important to say that our solution is integrated with Google Maps so that you can guide all the way from home to your meeting at the hospital with a doctor. So through public transportation or through to the parking lot if you're driving in your own car, and all the way to inside the building. So one thing is what we have in the platform right now, but we're we have a very strong roadmap. I'll not walk you through this slide, but only say that we are focusing on 3 areas. When about digesting the CAD data, we're using deep learning or AI to do an automated map generation. Also, we are focusing a lot on this live data integration and using artificial intelligence in giving more intelligent answers to our users' requests. So the competitor, one thing is that we have as a good solution, but how are the competitor situation? We have identified a couple of handful of competitors, direct competitors, but we're also working with competitors in the different verticals that we identify. So these companies in the outer circle are partners that are selling full-scale solution to these verticals. And so these are either partners or competitors. But we're working a lot with this, and we have already identified that we have a strong position in the market as a supplier to our partners. And that is leading to a special comment on Google Maps. So we're working closely with Google Maps, and Google is, as we see it, the best mapping solution by far right now. And Google are promoting MapsPeople in their Google Maps ecosystem. So we are the only Google Maps partner who have built a platform. So we are using a lot of other Google Maps partners to sell our solution globally. And also Google are having a lot of references from really large brands that are coming to Google, like in the last bullet mentioned here, BMW, Airbus, Johnson & Johnson, and so on. They are going to Google saying, we need help on indoor mapping, and Google are referring them to MapsPeople. So this is a very special, unique relation we have to Google here. So we benefit from the relation selling Google Maps licensing, but also benefiting from it in our indoor mapping solution. We have 4 strategies in terms of go-to-market. We focus on the strong economies in Western Europe, US, and we have recently announced that we are opening an office in Singapore in this quarter. We focus industry-wise on corporate office, entertainment, and retail, and we focus on the very large customers who has a strong potential for expansion. The 4th bullet here is about channel focus. So the main scaling of the business is through OEM partners, meaning partners who has a SaaS strategy, has a product where our indoor mapping is embedded in their solutions. We have a strong management team. The 5 on the left-hand side, everyone here has been in the company for 2 years or more. I've been in the company for around 30 years, and we have a strong and good cooperation with our board, where Lars Brammer, who will present in a minute here, is the chairman, and also strong other representatives from the Danish Growth Fund and from also a member from Salesforce. The company in overall, we're 95 employees represented in 5 offices, Aalborg, Copenhagen, Austin, Texas, Munich, and soon also in Singapore. We were 23 nationalities, quite diverse, and also a really high number of women in the company, 34% of women, and that's very uncommon for an IT company. So that was my fast presentation about the company and the revenue stream. Over to you, Lars.
Yes, thank you, Michael. That was one of the fastest run-throughs of our company here. So back to our first quarter report from this year. We have a total ARR of around 45 million at the end of first quarter, and they're divided into 74% apart from Maps and Doors. 1 year ago, Maps and Doors represented 61%. So Maps and Doors is growing much faster than the other revenue streams that Michael told us about. And that is absolutely also the strategy here, is to let Maps and Doors be the star of the 3 revenue streams. We on the SaaS highlights, ARR total for the company is 45.4 million Danish kroner. We have a total growth in the company of 55% in the annual recurring revenue. And on the Maps and Doors alone, we have a growth of 87% for the past 12 months. Our net revenue retention, a very important key figure for us and for SaaS companies, 127, meaning that we are growing our portfolio of customers, of the revenue from old customers by 27% over the past 12 months. And that is one of our key strategies. That is the land and expand strategy here. We see that that's very clear here in the cohort analysis, where we see that, for instance, the customers that we landed in 2020, they represented a value, an ARR value of 3.5 million in 2020. But at the end of first quarter this year, they represented 9.2 million in ARR. And we can see that we have closed new deals of 3.3 million by new customers in first quarter. And we have a almost 10% growth on the customers from last year in the first quarter. So we have a lot of potential of growing the company with our customers, and we are doing that all the time. On other SaaS metrics, we see that the lifetime value of our customers are going down, and that's part of our strategy. So we are very much aware that this is happening. That's due to our OEM strategy, where we have partners embedding their or our product in their solutions. That will, of course, make a smaller ARPA, or average revenue per account or user, and we'll see that over time. But we see that the CAC, customer acquisition cost, is falling also. So there's a very good. It's fully as planned with these figures, and we have around 12 months of recover of the CAC. So we will see a payback time of around a year on the customer acquisition cost. We have one thing that we have been talking a lot to investors about is our recognized revenue contra our annual recurring revenue, and that's due to the fact that from we get an order until we have delivered and we have recognized the full revenue over a 12-month period, we have a time where we develop the solution for the customer. It is mainly our partners doing that, but we have a production time as well. And then we have a time where if we have a new order in July, we will deliver in, let's say, September, and the customer will have the solution in October. Then we will start recognizing from October and 12 months ahead. So there will be a delay from we recognize the annual recurring revenue until we have the full revenue recognized in our accounts. So if you see a difference between the ARR and our recognized revenue, that is why. We have a partner focus, and that is very important for us. And we see that our partner channel is growing and growing steadily. We had a 42% growth in the number of partners with an annual recurring revenue of plus 150,000 Danish over the last 12 months. And with more than 40 active partners now, we are seeing a lot of revenue generated through partners. And this graph actually shows the number of partners with an ARR of plus 150,000 Danish. And we see that growing all the time. Okay, back to our numbers. First quarter, we had a revenue of 6.8 million Danish. The growth was not significant, and there's one main reason for that. That is that last summer in 2021, Google changed our profit on the Google Maps platform licenses from 20% to 12%. So in first quarter 2021, we had a gross profit on that of 20%. This quarter we had only 12%. So that counts for about 1.3 million Danish that we have in lower revenue from Google licenses. Our gross sales of Google licenses is around 75 million Danish. So when Google deducts from 20 to 12, we can of course measure that in our accounts as well. But these projections we were aware of that when we IPO'd, and they are all in our forecasts, and also it's mentioned in our prospectus. All in all, our revenue was a bit better than planned in first quarter. Our EBIT and EBITDA is better as well. So we are a bit ahead of plan in Q1.
Lars, just to stick to the plan, is it okay to have some questions now, or can you finish in
I think
1 minute?
we are done here in 30 seconds.
Perfect.
So just for the record, our guidance for this year is we expect to have an ARR end year of between 75 and 85 million Danish, corresponding a growth of 82 to 107% on the total ARR. So that is the maintained guidance in the first quarter.
Perfect.
I don't know, Michael, if you will just sum it off.
I think we should go to the Q&A instead here.
Yeah, let's do that.
But very impressive, almost 40 slides. So thank you very much. Let's take some Q&A just before we end here. So we have a question outside here from saying that a lot of discussion about people should go back to office. What are you seeing here? Is that business area growing as expected? So, talking about the post-COVID era, is it supporting your business case and your Maps Indoors segment?
Actually, yes, because we're seeing more and more offices moving from having a fixed desk to implementing smart office. So actually, COVID has pushed this industry forward. So we're seeing a lot of requests now from offices who want to implement the flexible desks, which require an overview of where you can sit and where your colleagues are located.
Perfect. You have an impressive NRR of more than 125%, and somebody here is asking, is it expected to continue, and what is the upselling potential on your existing customer portfolio?
That's a really good question. We expect it to continue, and there's a specific reason for that. We are about to implement a new pricing structure, a new model for delivery. So until now, the pricing have been based on square meter alone. But we are differentiating the product now. So we have a suite of products and add-ons, so that we can now approach our customers and do a lot of upsells, not only for more square meters, but also for new products. But we'll launch more details about that later this quarter.
Cool. Then there's a question about the capital increase, or are you expected to raise new capital? And there's a concern here from an investor as a small shareholder. He says that he'll be diluted. Why should I buy or hold your stock? Is the question.
Well, in the prospectus, we have a fully financed business plan. So we have no current ideas of raising new capital. But we will of course evaluate on that all the time. If we see acquisition or other things we would do, or grow higher, faster, we could do that. But I would not be that worried about being watered out, because we have a value of the company between 300 and 400 million right now, and I would say if we should raise money, it will be a lower two-digit million Danish kroner amount. So the dilution there would not be significant at all, and it will be a matter of higher growth. So we are focused on growth, but we could anytime make MapsPeople very profitable. It's a very sound company. So the investments we are doing right now is in growth, and it's high growth, and we can, if we stop the extra growth, we could be profitable if we wanted to. But we want to take the market worldwide here, so we will focus on growing.
Yeah. Just one final question, very quick. You mentioned it in the presentation, but who are your competitors? Maybe the largest one. And the question is also here: do you see what 3 words as a competitor?
No, we don't see what 3 words as a competitor, but we have identified around 25 competitors in our space, and it's a very, very narrow niche we are working in. And there's 2 patterns that accounts here. One pattern is that, or actually 3 patterns. One pattern is that we are only 4 companies above 50 employees, and we're one of the largest in this space. Another pattern is that the most important competitors are in the US, and we are very much focused on what they're doing. And the third pattern is that there are some consolidation taking place. So some of the big players like ServiceNow, they have acquired one of our previous French competitors. So I think we have a really strong position in the market, but we are monitoring our competitors very, very close.
Perfect. Time is up, so I would like to thank you very much for the presentation, Michael and Lars. Next up, we have Dette, and the company's co-founder and CEO, Flemming Videriksen. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. See you.